Hello everyone, this is another video response to Prove Your Faith. The video I'm responding to is Ephraim and the Trinity. First off, I want to say that your attempts at discrediting the Trinity are a lot better and a lot smarter than most of what I've seen out there. Some of the stuff the Muslims come up with are just so easy to refute. Some of the stuff the atheists come up with, if they even bother, it's just so easy. Whereas your videos are actually kind of challenging, and I have to do some research. I'm not super familiar with the Old Testament. I'm actually just really beginning to learn it, and I've been through the New Testament many times. King James, New King James, NIV, NLT. I now have the ESV to go through. I just bought this to help with my study of the Old Testament. Oh my gosh, there. But anyway, I really like your videos, but I think you're wrong, and I think you're wrong on this one, and I'll go through that right now. I think one of the main problems that you present with Hosea 11:9 is your phraseology here. It says, "For I am God and not man." And then the rest of your video, you make the claim here that God here is saying that he is not a man. There's a difference between saying I am not man and I am not a man. There's a huge difference, especially in the context that you place it, because you say where it says "for I am God," that word there in Hebrew is El, and El does not necessarily mean God, it means mighty or the great one. So if you're saying I am the great one, I am not man, and then goes on to say the Holy One in the midst of thee, he clearly is saying that he is not like man, rather than I am not a man. And the difference between man and God is clearly given in this verse, which is man is not the great one, man is not mighty, man is not holy. So he's using man as a general term, meaning everyone. So Hosea 11:9, he's saying that he is not like man, he is not fallen like us. He thinks greater than us. A reference to that would be Isaiah 55:8-9, on how God views himself in comparison to man. And I think this is the King James you're using, and just like "for I am God" is a bad translation, so is "and I will not enter into the city." What he's saying here, and you've mentioned this in your own video, is that he's saying that he's not going to destroy the city. He is not going to enter his wrath into the city. So later, when Jesus, the supposed God-man, enters into the city, does he bring his wrath? No. So he's not. God here is not saying that he's going to never, ever, under any circumstances, under any level or any way, not going to enter the city. He's saying he's not going to enter his wrath into the city. He's not going to bring destruction to the city. Jesus did not bring destruction to the city. Therefore, both John and Hosea do not contradict each other at all. In order for them to do so, you would have to really stretch it, which is what you're doing. You're jumping through loops in order to make what you want it to say, and it doesn't. So God here is saying that he is not like man, and that he will not destroy the city. And when he says not like man, he means that he is not broken or sinless or sinful like us, and Jesus is sinless. So Jesus too is not completely like man. For example, every human being on the planet has one nature. Jesus has two, divine and human. So that's my response to your video. Thank you, by the way, and God bless you. There is one more point I want to make real quick. Let's say that it does say in Hosea 11:9, God says, "I am not a man," or elsewhere in the Old Testament he says, "I am not a man." Well, the Christian response to that would be, so what? That's before the incarnation. Of course, God in the Old Testament would not be considered as having manifested in the flesh yet. He could say in Hosea 11:10, "I have not manifested in the flesh," and we would say, well, yeah, of course he hasn't. That's before the incarnation. So because there's a time frame here in the incarnation and the Old Testament, it's kind of difficult to use the Old Testament, I would think, to discredit or disprove God manifesting in the flesh, and therefore the incarnation. So, I don't know, I guess I'll just leave you with that, and God bless, and take care.